Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our next episode of DCEU show where Javis hates the name and we'll think of another name later. As always, I'm your host, Joseph, and this is my brother Javis, co host. And so, as always, let's get started. Let's lock it, load it, let's go. So, Javis, I watched Black Adam last night.
Are you serious?
Yep,
I was
took the
what
time to
I had
watch it.
I had brought up topics and everything, and you know exactly what we are going to talk about today.
That movie was garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I said it myself. It wasn't the best, but I didn't think it was garbage. There were some good moments it had in it. I thought The Rock's performance was better than people expected it to be. But the writing wasn't there. The storyline really wasn't there. Some of the action sequences were really really cool. All in all, it was just like a B rated. It was just another this week's blockbuster kind of a thing.
I
Uh,
was so excited after the conversation we had. I'm like, yep, you know what? I'm gonna give this movie a chance and just sit down and like, you know what? Maybe the fans have said some bad things about it, and I'm gonna truly just sit down and look at it for the movie that it is. And this felt like a movie that was done in the '80s with the graphics of today, and like just even the ending, Javis. Come on, like when they're like, "Oh, well, if you don't like that name, what should we call you?"
Oh my
I'm like, "Are
god.
y'all really gonna do that?" They do that like in every movie. I'm like, that's what you got. That's what the writers came together and said. This should be the finale. That explains why that wasn't the finale. Why they had to get Henry Cavill about because Henry Cavill was the reason why that movie was worth seeing. And it bothers me that his only 10 seconds, well, him and I even felt bad for how to get away with murder.
Oh
What is
my
her name?
gosh. Viola Davis.
Violet. I felt so bad because I'm sure Violet was like, "No, I'm good. No, you you have to do this movie, Violet. It's all right. Y'all need me in there. You take care of it yourselves. No. We need you in there. We got this big story arc that we're gonna be doing. You got to come check it out. No, I'm good. I'm good. We got Peacemaker. I'm good with that. I don't even need to be seen for that. Just put a picture of me and that'll work. You know what? Put the person that was my daughter in Peacemaker. Put her in there and say, I told her to do do that. But nah, they got her in there, and I felt so bad. Like she did her scene from her home. She truly did. She was like, "Why am I gonna just I'm a phone in this mess?" And she totally did. Get me a green
It's
screen. She had her husband say, "Put a green screen in the back there, and we good." No, you need no, we good. Just go ahead. Trust me. Like no one's gonna care about my part, and no,
no.
and no one did. No
It's
one
true. I mean,
cares.
the truth of the matter is because she also technically had the phone scene inside of the movie where she was on the phone with what is it, Hawkeye,
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm gonna call him.
she was on the phone with him, and I feel like
It
that
wasn't
was
Hawkeye. That's Marvel. So by the way, but that's one of
damn. Are you serious?
yes, Hawkeye's Marvel.
Who is he again?
Senor Hawk.
That's not. That is. Oh, you're right. That is Hawk. I got it wrong. It's not Hawkeye. It's somebody else. My bad. So anyway, Hawkman. I don't remember his name. I don't remember what superhero that is. But anyway, she was on the phone with him in the movie, and I feel like that's all she was ever supposed to do. And then when The Rock pitched this whole thing to Henry Cavill and DC, they're like, "Look, this is going to be the center point of all things DC. We're going to rebuild the entire structure of the universe around Black Adam. Me, Shazam, and Superman are gonna have this huge battle movie, which is an animated movie. It's a really great animated movie that the fans are really looking forward to. And so he was like, let's build it all around this. Then after he did that, I think that's when they made Henry Cavill and Viola Davis actually become a part of this movie at the very end. But I believe you're right. I believe that the only thing that they could get from her was her voice. And then afterwards, they went back and were just like, okay, we're throwing all this money into it. Let's go ahead. I'm really upset about Dr. Fate. I feel like they did Dr. Fate dirty in this. If you're gonna bring in Dr. Fate, which is a humongous character in the DC universe, don't bring him in like that. That was stupid to me.
They
Like,
did everybody dirty, even Black Adam. It was, gosh, like there was just so. I really was gonna just be like, you know what? Let's just give these people a chance. They know what they're doing. It seems to be. I think they saw that movie and realized we need to reboot it. Like
I think that
it was
movie
a
was what.
confirmation. It was a full confirmation of none of this works. And the fact that we had to get Henry Cavill to make this movie works only proved that this movie does not work. Like I was upset with The Rock about him not being part of the Fast and the Furious universe anymore and saying he's gonna step away because this was his thing. He was gonna do it. But it didn't work. And not only did it not work, it was horrible. Like I can't believe there are certain people that I'm starting to understand that they have yes people all around them, and nobody ever tells them no. They're like, yeah, 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 that looks good. Yeah, yeah, no, no, you're incredible. No, 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 you're great. You're great. Yes, 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 absolutely. Yes, you can do it. Yes, absolutely. And no one tells them no. And I think he needs the no people. There are certain actors that are out there that keep their, I guess it's called entourage around them, and they make sure that they don't do something, stupid or crazy. And somebody should have watched this movie with them and said, this is not it. Like, I see what you're trying to create, and it's possible, but you created a racist world with a racist environment, and it's just like, so your hero is a Hawaiian guy, not someone from your culture? Like, how about we start there? So our superhero is not the actual person from that culture, that nationality. We're gonna go and get somebody else from a different nationality to save us, and then when he's saying he's trying to save us, his way of saving everybody is to kill and murder, and everybody from that culture is on board with murdering and killing everybody. The whole entire community is in, yes, murder, kill them all. That's what they're all saying. And so now you send a justice group to come in there, a fake justice. I know this Justice Society and they're real, but in this world, it doesn't make any sense where they came from. I couldn't figure out if they were at Dr. Fate's house or Hawkman's house. No one ever said whose home the ship was at. And
I
I'm
agree.
like, can you?
I agree.
Whose house is this? I'm sure
Nobody's
both
house.
of y'all have an amazing house,
Nobody's house.
but it's just, and then finally you get a black African American dude playing Hawkman, which is incredible. And you got his stupid normal black lines. We're gonna talk about this later. We're gonna talk about this later. You and I are gonna have a discussion about this later. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, seriously? Who thought that was funny? And the thing is, this guy is hilarious. Everything that I've seen him in, I have loved. This
Yeah.
was his moment to shine. He had the muscles, he had the strength, he had the power, all of that. And it's just, and then so you make him the kind of the leader of everybody in the Justice Society, and now you have a black guy trying to tell this other culture that no, we came in to help you. The same way that people come in and try and say that to black people. Nobody thought who sat down and said this was okay.
Yeah.
And I have never seen so many wrong things happening at the same time. I'm like, do one at a time. Don't put it together in one scene of you gotta stay hidden. It's the very beginning of the movie. The female lead of the movie. You gotta stay hidden so nobody can see you. Okay, and then you go past the first gate and you stick your head out and start talking to your son outside the window. I mean, really? How is that safe? And then you're gonna come up to the security and be like, "Leave him alone. He's my son." They're like, we've been looking for your ass. We've been trying to find you. Come on.
I know. There was a lot of, I'll admit, there was a lot of points in there where you're just like, oh no. I mean, it had, like I said, I still feel like there were some gems that were in it. Um Hawkman. I think that's what he was. But anyway,
Yeah, he's Hawkman. I just
okay.
want to say.
Sorry. Yeah, no, there were some gems that were in it, but they all in all, the movie fell short. But the craziest part about it is that it didn't do DC numbers, but it didn't do awful in the theater. It didn't. But what I believe and what most people probably believe is Rock has a fan base, and it's not movie based. It's Rock fan base, and I
Yes.
feel like the fans of The Rock went to go see the movie. They're the ones that upgraded it. They're the ones that said, "Hey, this is whatever." But at the same time, that's what DC was hoping for. They want another Henry Cavill. They want another star that people are going to follow, whether or not their movie is good or bad.
They
Which is
just.
why I'm sure that has something to do with the last episode we talked about. HBO Max was just like, look, we don't care about James Gunn. We don't care about the DC universe. If it's bad, it's bad. We're not putting it out, and that's another reason why some people believe that they didn't put out Batgirl is because of that, which sucks. But at the same time, you look at Black Adam, and can you blame them? Like if
No, I
Black
can't blame them. I officially am no longer upset at all on anything. Them hiring, like, I want to go back to episode 1 and slap myself for saying what I said because I'm looking at what they showed and somebody said that was okay and approved it, which makes me even more nervous about the Flash because this is all stuff not done under the helm of James Gunn. Keep in mind, I did enjoy Shazam. Shazam was really good.
Shazam
It
was
wasn't
good.
spectacular,
Hmm.
but it was really good. And
Yes,
I'm like, okay, so you guys had something with Shazam, but you didn't run with that. Like, you could have had Black Adam come at the end of Shazam instead of it being Superman that we didn't know, and they could have been like, "Who was that?" And then you do a background story of Black Adam, and then at the end of Black Adam, that's when Shazam and Black Adam meet, and it just like that could have been
slow
something.
burn, just like you were saying. Just make it a slow burn, a build up to what we want to see, but give us the movies that we need to see along the way.
Yes,
It that would have been a better. It would that would have been way better than having than doing what they did. It would have been way better than doing what they did,
you
and
can't get mad at him. I literally am. I saw our nephews like oh my gosh, James Gunn made the announcement and blah blah blah, and I'm like, my first thought, like I told you, where are the black like superheroes that have their own movies in this? They're rebooting Superman and Batman. I still feel that way, but a reboot needs to happen because you have officially effed it up in such a way you can't fix it unless you change time, which is why they are praying to God that this Flash movie will be that change of time to recreate everything.
and
Everything
everyone
resides on Flash.
and
And this
everyone
dude,
was on everyone was going back and forth, and they were just like, we all know the background of the antics of Ezra Miller. We all know it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to say it, but this is why they cannot scrap this movie. They
no,
cannot
no,
throw this movie out.
no.
This If they throw this movie out, DC universe, DC movie cinematics is done. If this movie cannot sell, it's just done. And so this is literally this is plan Z. They're on their final plan.
Yeah,
If Flash can't sell, it's done. And they already have people that won't go see the movie because of Ezra
yes,
Miller. And
yes.
that's why they dumped so much money to get this trailer to play during the freaking Super Bowl.
They didn't
They
have a
said
choice.
they said this is it. They have dumped everything into this movie.
Super Bowl was like, no, we got enough spots. Like, no, you don't understand. We will pay triple. We don't have a choice. Whatever the normal price is, triple it. We'll pay you that. Give us 30 seconds. We'll take a halfway timeout, like whatever it takes, because we got to show something. And I am hyped. But the thing is, when the Black Adam trailer came out, I wasn't hyped. I thought I was like, okay, all right, finally they're gonna do the Black
Yeah,
Adam movie. It's gonna be good. But this Flash trailer, I am ecstatic. I'm excited. I cannot wait. I want to get back to the fact of like I was upset, like I told you about, because one of my favorite franchises is Fast and the Furious. I could care less what anyone thinks. I know that in some ways it's a train wreck, in some ways it's amazing. But for me, there's something about it, the quality of it, that I truly just fall in love with every single time. I can't help it. And Michelle Rodriguez is just, I don't care anything that she does. It's just like, wow.
it's
She's just,
gold. It's
I think
gold.
she's probably one of the best underrated female actresses that is out there. Hell,
I agree.
actors act there, and I think she's never getting her time to shine properly, and she needs to. She puts so much love into her characters, and she really went balls out on the Fast and Furious #9, where she ended up having her own scenes with nothing but females. But in a way, I'm tired of that as well. Why is it when a female has to step out, it's got to be with a bunch of other females? It should just be on her own. She can hang out with the guys. It doesn't matter. But Michelle Rodriguez needs to join the Marvel universe, DC universe, whichever, and she needs her own thing that shows how well she is. She is just
I'm just
incredible.
I'm honestly, because you've been a fan of Fast and Furious for a minute now, and I think that also stems from your fandom when it comes to car games also. I feel like for anybody that's been a fan of car games since, I don't know, since Sega, Sega Genesis, like, I mean, anybody that's been a fan of car games and watched the progression of that, I feel like that's the fan base of Fast and the Furious. This is
Yeah,
the movie series that they've been waiting for forever. But
yeah,
I personally have always said, having not seen all of the movies, the first time Michelle Rodriguez stepped onto the screen in Fast and Furious, I said they need to do a movie with her. Like, why have they not done a Fast and Furious movie with her? Just
yeah.
her own story. I
Because
think that it's
even
time.
the fourth one is when she supposedly died, but she
Yeah.
did something to die, and I'm like, where's that story? How about we get the full story of her leaving
Yeah.
because he left her and said, I can't be with you anymore, blah blah blah, and whatever, and she leaves and ends up doing something and she dies according to that storyline that was going on. I'm like, okay, so she dies in that storyline, but we don't get to see her own movie, but yet we get to see, Han, we get to see all of them. Even when they did one with The Rock and what's his name? They did their own little movie. Um I forgot the name of it. It's just escaping me. But I even enjoyed that. But my point that
What is it? Hobbs?
yeah,
Uh,
Hobbs and Shaw.
I was gonna say Calvin and Hobbs.
That's what I always say when I think of it, because there's no other Hobbs. It's just like his name is Hobbs. It's like, no, there's only one Hobbs. We all know the real. Yeah, he's got a
Did
friend
you
named
enjoy
Calvin.
that? Did you enjoy that movie?
Yeah, I did for what it was. But they all. What's the phrase that he's? Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? And
Yeah.
I'm starting to smell it. And I thought it'd be something that I would like, but I'm starting to realize I don't think I like that smell. And
We
so it's just
no,
I
I
never.
don't, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I work at an arcade, and we got, it was a huge promotion. We got all these Funko Pop toys of Hobbs and Shaw. Like, they sent us boxes and boxes and boxes of it. It took us a year and a half to get rid of them. Like, literally, they sat there. We made the cranes, we made the games easy to play so that people would win them for free, and they were bringing them up to the register saying, "Can we get something else?" it was
Hmm.
it was so it was literally the most pitiful thing in the world. We were at the point where we started to give them. We have a bowling department in our arcade, so we started to. They do these games on the lanes where they have to play game, but no one really even likes the prizes that they win. It's like a bowling pin. They're like, "Oh, okay." We were like, "Look, give these away for your prizes at bowling so that we can get rid of these. We need these off of the floor." And literally, but the funniest thing about it is we got down to the last three, and they were in a crane, and some kid came up and he won a different toy, and he was just like, yeah, he was like, I'm sorry. He was like, I can't this one because I think it was like a Hello Kitty toy. And he was just like, yeah, it was like, is there any way I can get something else, man? He was like, he had to have been no more than like 11. He was like, man, is there anything else I can get, please? Because like this Hello Kitty toy, like I'm not putting it down, but like it's just not for me. And I was like, I understand, man. Let me get you something else. And I was just like, we got this Hobbs uh Funko Pop. I was like, this kid doesn't even know what that is. He was like, Are you talking about Hobbs and Shaw? I said, yeah. He was like, oh my God, you're gonna give that to me? I said, yeah. And he was just like, oh my God, thank you so much. So the fan base is out there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You just
And
gotta find them.
I'm a huge fan of what The Rock was cooking. It's just um I I look at what he does and his creativity level. And sometimes he just needs to be told, okay, man, like we got to figure out a way to really utilize your talent and your skill because you're literally the same character in every movie. That wasn't a Black Adam movie, that was the Rock movie. And
As a
he's
superhero.
as a superhero and he's got to understand that, and someone needs to sit him down and just say that, like, and I feel like he didn't fail. The people around him, his staff, they failed him.
Uh-huh.
They failed him when they watched the dailies of that movie being created and kept telling him that it was good because it wasn't, and everything around him was good but not great, and he himself in the movie was good, not great, because they didn't give him the better parts for him to be playing. And it's so jacked up that this was supposed to be his coming out movie of, all right, now y'all been wanting to see what I can do, here's what I can do. I feel his coming out movie was Fast and the Furious 5. It was
Uh,
plain and simple because
yeah.
it was just a man hunting another man nonstop until he himself got screwed by the people that wanted him. Whatever the story is for Fast Five, until he got screwed, and then he had to get their help. And the way he broke down in his character to say he wants in to stop this guy was simple. And all his storylines in the Fast and Furious franchise have been very simple. And it worked for his character and his style. But when you want to put a complex character like Black Adam into the mix, you got to realize that there's a lot of storyline that's in there. And you have to be careful, especially more nowadays than ever, about racism and class and respect and love of culture and history and all of that. It's just you have to be careful, and I don't think anyone told him this. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have known, he should have already known. It's not even about that. It's about when you
Yeah.
have people around you that tell you yes, 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 yes all the time. And people around him told him yes, yes, yes. I think not only does the DCU need to reboot, I think The Rock needs to reboot because his TV show about him growing up, about his father growing up in wrestling, anytime I sit down and watch that, I am like, oh my gosh, this is so well written. This is absolutely beautiful. I love every second of this. And there have been movies that he's been in. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. But I was upset when he said he wasn't going to go back to the Fast and the Furious franchise. And then I'm sitting there thinking that the cast of Fast and the Furious saw Black Adam and they're like, yeah, I'm really glad he's not in the Fast and the Furious franchise. And I'm like, and that's not what you want.
Yeah.
Like, even for me, like, I wanted this to be like a joke of me saying that, but it's not even funny. It's sad because you're about to lose everything for putting everything into something that they told you no to. And I'm
Uh,
like, come on. Like,
yeah.
Black Adam didn't need to be a big giant character in its own movie. Black Adam should have been a side character.
It
And if
should
he
have
hadn't
been.
done that, you got like Michael B. Jordan who played the bad guy in Black Panther, and everybody loves him because of the character that he played, because of how complex that character was. But
Uh-huh.
he only needed to do it once. But you wanted to create a franchise off of Black Adam, which doesn't work right now.
Uh-huh.
And then the way you created the storyline, you tried to follow the comic books as close as you did. But if you follow the comic books as close as you're supposed to, you don't fit the character.
No.
So
No.
you can't win that way. But you
Yeah.
can find a character that more resembles who you are as a person and bring it in and sell it. So you got two options: to leave that background character out, do a Black Adam character and just be a side character, and you just come in for a mission and whatever like that. Come in, come out, do your thing, and was like, and then it's cool because you can only imagine Superman dealing with something, and Superman's dealing with some sort of threat, and then they put kryptonite inside of Superman, which has happened in the cartoons. We've seen in the comic books, the cartoons, where Superman is literally out of commission, and when all else is about to fail, Black Adam shows up, and then bam, he saves the day. That gets you. You want it.
Uh-huh.
But you want to sit there and do this whole movie and create a whole new franchise, and it's residing on child actors, unless they're it's
Yeah, I have a question for you though,
go
because
for it.
going into this, there was something that triggered in my head when I was watching it, and you were just like, when you said the words were out, the script felt like it was outdated. Well, one thing that we do know is the fact that The Rock, and this is another reason why I feel so bad for him. The Rock has been tied to Black Adam since 2003.
Yes,
He and all this time he has been wanting this movie to be made. He has
yes,
been had his mind on it. He has put his all into it.
correct.
My question is, um, do you feel like, and this is an awful question to ask, do you feel like they wrote a script in 2003 and never changed it? That's what it feels like to me. This script was
Surprisingly, it doesn't. I feel like the script is even older than that, but
really
I feel to answer that specific question, because that's what I want to do. To answer that specific question, no, I don't think that's the original script from 2003. I think it's actually older than that.
okay.
But I also feel like they changed a lot in that script to apply for today. But they had people writing it that did not know the character. There's something to be said about Black Panther and how it was done. It was done by a lot of African Americans. It was done by Africans. It was done written. It was the people that were in it. They had hairstylists that were of African American descent, and
Yes.
or at least if they didn't in some parts, depending on who the character was, they had someone that knew how to look at the culture, the
Everything about it.
character about it. This I think was done with a certain set of non-diversity people in the room, or people in the room that may have been diverse but not culture to understand the background of what they were doing. And
Yeah.
this is that result. If you don't do it right, it's going to be wrong. And I think because Rock has had this in his head since 2002, everyone, again, it goes back to my original thing, everyone kept telling him yes, and they should have told him no. A
Yeah.
good friend of The Rock should have sat down and just said, look at it, man. Look, it's 2022, dog. Like, this doesn't work the way it's supposed to. I'm sorry. I know this is something you want to do. It just doesn't work anymore. Like, you're gonna have to find something else. Matter of fact, there's been talks of them rebooting the stuff. How about we hold off, let them see the script and redo it the way it should? And then he's gonna be like, no, I need to start it. No, brother, I'm telling you, like, this is, you don't want this to be your downfall. You need to be a side character. Black Adam as a side, and this opens you up to so many other projects, Rock, if you do it this way. But if you do it the way you're talking about, where Black Adam is a lead and plays his own movie and everything, when all these other movies need to come before that, you're gonna lose it all. And that's exactly what happened. So you have The Rock trying to sell this brand, doing these commercials, doing these things on YouTube, TikTok, wherever he is, trying to sit there and say how incredible it is and how much money that the movie's making, and it didn't. You didn't recoup what you wanted to recoup. You didn't make
No.
what you wanted to make.
Not in the
and
least.
and it's fine that it did. Yes, in the end, it probably did make money. It could have made hundreds of thousands. It could have made millions. It could have made 100 million, but it did not make the numbers you knew you were going for. And since it did not make those numbers, give it the respect it deserves and say it was a failure. Regroup yourself, fire almost everybody on your staff, and start all over again.
Yep.
Get people who care more about you than they care about you making money. And if you get people that care more about you and less about you making the money, you would have never done that movie, because everybody around you was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, 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 yes." But that real friend would have been like, "Bro, look, let me show you something. Let me look on the screen right here. Let me show you." And then they can tell him why it doesn't work, and then he can be like, "Oh, I didn't even see it that way." Like, and then he could be that person like, "No matter what, I stay positive. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go." But at the same time, you can be positive about letting something go, so you can be even better for something else. He should have been a small little character on Shazam Part 2.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that could have been Elseworld, and it could have been something where they would have saw him in Shazam Part 2 or even Shazam 1, because I know Shazam 2 hasn't come out yet, because and all this other stuff has been done. But if they saw Shazam 2 and saw a little piece that he did in that, James Gunn would have walked in like, yeah, I know this is supposed to be Elseworld, but we need you in my universe. And that would have been the change. And that's what he would have got. And I'm even hearing talks about, oh my gosh, like Aquaman 2 is not doing good. Like I don't know if you heard, but they've done some testing on it, and people are literally upset with the female lead character to the point where they've taken out a lot of her parts.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, okay, so it's happening. All this stuff is just nothing but utter failures that are coming around, and a reboot is needed. But I will still say, if you're gonna do a reboot, start it all over again with different people. Not different people, but a different superheroes. There are
Yeah.
too many. the The reason why I think Marvel worked, because they, what's the word I'm looking for? The example I want to give is, there's some times where you create something when you have a little bit. So they're like, you'll have someone that creates an album, a good No Doubt, the music group No Doubt. She went through a horrible breakup and wrote everything that she was going through, and it was just like horrible, whatever. That is still, in my opinion, the best album that she's ever had, because it was her soul that she was putting out into those words to
Which
create
album?
that. Her first album, Tragic Kingdom.
Tragic Kingdom. Yeah.
So it's amazing I know that, but I couldn't know all these other actors and all these things. But Tragic Kingdom came up without a problem. Clearly, I
Hey,
got issues,
part of our
but
childhood.
it is part of our childhood. But I still listen to that album, and there's so much in there about her voice and about what she went through and the things that she was going on, and it hit with so many other people. But then now she has all the money in the world, so to speak, and then when she tries to do an album, the problem is she's not hurting the way she did because she had pretty much nothing. There's a difference of what you can create when you have nothing, and there's a difference of what you can create when they give you everything. Dave Chappelle was the probably one only person that said, "You know what? I can't create what I want to create being given this big of a budget. Do whatever you want to. We'll bring in whatever actor you want to. I can't be funny that way. I'm out." But when they had a shoestring budget and they couldn't pull everything together, they barely had any money to do anything, then he was creating some of the most incredible things we've ever seen before. Case in point, whether you like him or whether you don't, that's just how it was. When there's a certain amount of money you have, a certain amount of budget, it's what you can create with that budget on that low end budget, and you can be very creative and do some pretty dope crap. But if you are given everything, it's just, that's how I feel, kind of how I was with this situation. Black Adam could have been so much more, and I sat there and I am upset that I only have a certain amount of hours in a day. I only have a certain amount of hours in a weekend. Then I gotta go back, to the regular job and do what I need to do. And
Yeah.
I'm mad that I wasted that time on that. I usually don't feel that way about when I see a movie or something, but I couldn't find any takeaway for them to be like, all right, take this little piece and we can use it for this, or take this little piece and put it there. Nothing. There was nothing in that whole entire thing. And it really pisses me off because we had a black superhero that was in that movie, just like we did when we had Cyborg, and Cyborg that wasn't given justice, and neither was Black Hawk. Hawkman wasn't given his justice in this movie as well. And at the same time, these were two incredible actors who could do some pretty amazing things, and they both got screwed. And now there's going to be a reboot where now we're going to see the black people in the movie. They're going to be that like side, oh, black Jimmy Olsen or black Daily Planet person. Give me a black Lois Lane. You know what? Let's try that. And I'm not saying that just so, because that's going to be that other argument we had before. But it's just like forget whoever you want for Lois Lane. Forget whoever you want for Jimmy Olsen. Give me a black superhero movie from stem to stern, beginning to end. Black superhero movie. Let's just do that, and then make it the lead for the whole entire new universe. And I guarantee you, it'll be something different. I know you may not agree on that, but I know we only got a few minutes
No,
left. But go ahead.
no, it actually do, and I'll make it quick. One of the things that I was going to talk about tonight was um uh the fact that they actually did a recasting of Superman online, and they were just like, what are some of the characters you think should who do you think should play certain characters? And one of the number one things was Martha Kent. Superman's he's adopted. His parents could be any race. And they said Martha Kent should be played by Cheryl Lee Ralph from Abbott Elementary and the original Dreamgirls. Um, they said that would be a phenomenal casting. And I said, I cannot deny that.
No, I can't. That would be epic.
That would be
That would
pretty
be so
incredible.
epic if Martha Kent was African American and played by Cheryl Lee Ralph. I would,
Oh
because
my
when she
god.
says, because that meme that they have of her right now, she's talking to the what's her name from Sister Act 2, saying, "Singing will bring you nothing. Singing will not do you justice. Singing will not." They cut to her singing the Black Negro national anthem for the actual, like the real Cheryl Ralph doing that. It's
I
just it's
didn't.
so perfect. But Cheryl Lee Ralph, oh my gosh, that would be butter. Oh my
That
gosh,
would be
it would,
so good.
and it would bring a whole new group into the DC world the proper
Yes.
way, and it'll bring another side of Superman that we've never seen before. And I
Yes.
would be running to the movie theater to see that. So yeah, that is a great way to end this episode on you saying
Yes.
that and making that a topic of the next episode of can you put a pivotal can you put a minority in a pivotal spot in the superheroes world to make them start doing the right thing, because they did it in all this other stuff. You'll see those golf movies or um, sports movies, but I don't think I've ever seen it done in a superhero movie. Like if you
Yeah.
made Spider-Man's parents, not his parents, but the people that raised them,
Aunt May and
Aunt
Uncle
May or anything
Ben.
like black, because you don't know which one is related to Spider-Man. Is it Aunt May that's related to Spider-Man's mom and dad, or is it Uncle Ben that's related
Yeah.
to his Spider? So if you made a different nationality, it totally works. So that is something incredible that I never even thought about, and now that
Yes.
you've said it, it's in my head, and
I
I don't
can't
want it to
I
go
don't want
away.
anything else now.
Yeah, that's so true, because I mean, making Alfred, yeah, has Alfred ever been black from Batman?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So yeah, you got so many options on that, because people, the people that end up, because let's just be real, the people that end up raising these people that turn into these great characters and stuff tend to end up being a black person in all these little things. Like, I don't know, boss, but yeah, some of them end up being the ones that just give them that little to what they need to be in that better character. So yeah, I would like to see that. I
Me
want to
too.
thank James again for always coming to these episodes. As y'all can see, he's in he's dressed up because he just got off work, came home, decided to do this. So I'm very appreciative of us just trying to knock these episodes out just for y'all to see this. So thank
Yes.
y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all on the next episode of DCEU. We'll work on a different name. Much love to everybody. Thanks.